All right, people. If you were paying attention just a little while ago, you probably noticed there was a bit of drama. Some people were saying, NBC, why would you host a town hall for Donald Trump at the exact same time as a Biden town hall? Isn't that detracting from Biden? Isn't that moving media attention away from him, from the person we want to be president? Well, here's the issue, folks. First of all, when has Trump being on television ever helped his electoral chances? Trump needs to take the Biden strat, my dudes, because every single fucking time this guy opens his mouth, he says some... Yeah, 2016. Yeah, I'm sorry. Wait, I should clarify. There's an answer to that, and it's 2016. Because since then, it's just been just not good, folks. Not good. His brain is melting. He is high on steroids. He will say or do anything. He's a madman, okay? He's an animal, all right? The other reason why is, hypothetically, it would actually be extremely funny if the bombastic, crazy showman Donald Trump, with a pedigree in reality TV hosting, ended up getting thrashed by the sleepy Joe Biden in ratings. But, as it so happens, with 13.9 million viewers to Biden and 10.7 million viewers to Trump, Trump actually got fucking obliterated in the polling, which is very funny because I would be willing to bet the only reason Donald Trump accepted this town hall at this time slot is so there was a potential of him blowing Biden out in ratings. But it didn't happen at the DNC versus the RNC, and it didn't happen today. So, you know, you might be wondering, okay, maybe Donald Trump was just really fucking boring in his interview, and that may be the case. Maybe his town hall was boring, but judging from what I've seen online, and I haven't watched a single clip, by the way, this is a completely authentic. I'm going in blind, baby. Judging from what I've seen online, it's wild shit. Let's get to it. Come on, people. Donald Trump town hall with voters on NBC News, live streamed just 18 hours ago in the beautiful state of disbelief. Blowing out the audio with those trumpets, okay.
This is an NBC News special presentation of today.
Thanks, don't milk it.
I'm feeling great. I don't know about you. How's everyone feeling?
Yep, I do follow the election.
This was supposed to be Donald Trump, and we want to say right off the top, this is not how things were supposed to go tonight. This was supposed to be a town hall debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. But after the president contracted COVID, the debate...
What the fuck is going on with the sound? Holy shit. Wait, is that real? Is this really happening right now? Is this actually the audio for the official live broadcast? Holy shit. That's incredible. Why does our mic sound like shit? I don't know. Everything on my end is fine. Wait, hold on. We're 1 minute, 19 seconds in. Let me skip just a little bit.
Going to not let them do
what
it.
There was an
the
event
fuck?
with the Gold Star families the day after the Supreme Court
event. A Gold
event.
Star event with the most incredible people you've ever seen. And I...
What the it sounds like there's an amphitheater inside my skull. The audio never gets better? It's outside. I don't care if it's outside. I could host a fucking town hall in a bouncy castle and get better audio than this. Where the fuck is the microphone? Underneath the floor? Where are they getting this from? It's outside. I know it's outside! Yeah, did they eat the microphones? Where is the audio engineer? What the fuck? All right, well. Never let it be said I'm not tenacious.
The commission announced it would have to be a virtual debate because of health concerns. The president then said he would not participate in a virtual debate. At that point, Joe Biden scheduled a town hall tonight in Pennsylvania on another network, and now the president is doing the same. His own town hall with the same venue, format, and time as NBC's town hall with
The other clips I've seen didn't have this bad of audio. Yeah, does anybody have a different source for this? Does anyone have a different source for this? It's NBC News. This is the original source.
This is an NBC News
Oh, here's CNBC. Hold on.
special.
Town hall tonight in Pennsylvania on another
Wait.
network, and now
When the president
Wait,
dies,
no,
who
what?
a test though on the day of the debate.
You know, if you ask the doctor, they'll give you a perfect answer.
What? Why would CNBC have better audio than NBC? What? They're the same. Okay. Let's just do this. Man, this is a powerful town hall. My morale is already being beaten the fuck down, and we haven't even started the content yet.
Participate in a virtual debate. At that point,
Okay.
Joe Biden scheduled a town hall tonight in Pennsylvania on another network, and now the president is doing the same, his own town hall,
Yep.
with the same venue, format, and time as NBC's town
Yep.
hall with Joe Biden last week.
Got blown out in ratings.
The two candidates go head-to-head tonight, though not face-to-face, each in a key battleground state. And tonight, the president will be taking questions from voters here in Miami. Who we should mention are socially distanced and they're wearing masks. And I should say this.
This is cute. I like this though. All the viewers are like in like booster seats, 6 feet apart from each other. I like that. That's cute.
Audience looks a bit like America. It's divided. Some here voted for the president in 2016 and plan to again. Some support Joe Biden, and some say they are truly undecided.
Wait, this one sounds better than the one you're
This is
listening
an
to. Okay, here's CNBC television. Let's try this one.
NBC News special.
Mention our social for being
That
here.
was very well stated, I have to say.
I think this is about the same as the one we were just listening to.
Good job.
Thank you. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're well.
I think this is the same.
We're going to get a mix of questions on a range of topics, and we're going to get to those questions in a moment. But first, with all that ado, welcome, Mr. President, and thank you for being
That
here.
was very well stated, I have to say. Good job.
Thank you. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're well.
12 feet between the president and her. I like that. Everyone knows. Everyone knows Trump still has COVID.
We send our best to the First Lady and
Thank
to
you.
Barron.
Thank you.
Do you have any remaining symptoms from COVID?
Nothing whatsoever. I'm great. I feel good. Was in North Carolina today and did a big rally. We had tremendous turnout and just feel really good. Florida, Pennsylvania.
Florida. The video is still playing. I'm sorry. The video is still playing. This isn't it having a loading failure. It's still. This is in the official CNBC live stream format.
And they said, let's
Okay.
go to the hospital. I said, that's okay. I'm going to, respond to what you say.
Dude, what the fuck did the fucking NSA have to cut out of that segment, dude? Holy shit. Did he flash his cock and balls? What the fuck did it what necessitated the emergence of the Illuminati to void that segment of the fucking digital recording? Oh yeah, he was coughing too hard.
And we went over to Walter Reed, where you have tremendous professionals. They gave me Regeneron and Remdesivir both. And I
Remember, Trump has investments in the companies that makes these products, even though he's broke as shit. So when he shills for them, he makes money from the stock going up.
all I know is I felt good the following day. I felt really good.
Did the doctors ever tell you that they saw pneumonia on your lung scans?
No, but they said the lungs are, a little bit different, a little bit
What?
perhaps infected. And,
Infected with?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't do too much asking.
What?
I really felt good. I didn't have much of a problem with the lungs. I did have a little bit of a temperature. Obviously, I felt there was something missing. And then I tested, I tested positive.
Well, let's talk about testing because there's a little bit of confusion about this, and I think we can clear it up.
Yeah, and there shouldn't be.
Your first positive test was Thursday, October 1st, okay? When was your last negative test? When did you last remember having a negative test?
Well, I test quite a bit, and I can tell you that before the debate, which I thought it was a very good debate, and I felt fantastically. I had no problems before.
Did you test the day of the debate?
I don't know. I don't even remember. I test all the time, but I can tell you this.
The Trump administration still can't say when he last had a fucking negative test before the positive test. Dude, Trump has here's my new thing. Trump has never gotten tested in the entire presidency, okay? He hasn't been tested once. He had a cough and they tested him for the first time and it was positive, okay? He had never been tested before. He acted like a mom bringing him to the dentist. Every time they're like, Trump, you got to get sir, you need to be tested. You're the president of the United States. I don't wanna. I'm not coughing. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not coughing. Okay, well, all right. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Yeah, he's actually had COVID the entire presidency. It's amazing.
After the debate, like I guess a day or so, I think it was Thursday evening, maybe even late Thursday evening, I tested positive. That's when I first found out about it.
Back to the debate, because the debate commission's rules, it was the honor system.
Except there were doctors who said that he had 72 hours of treatment, or that had been 72 hours since the diagnosis very early on into his treatment. So I don't know. I don't know. On the honor system, he didn't get tested the day before the debate. I don't know. Just, God. There are people in his administration who have actually said, there are people in the administration who have said, some people believe either he still has COVID or he never had it to begin with, and it was all like a sham, a publicity stunt, because there's so much dishonesty coming out of, what is his name, Sean Connery, the doctor, and the administration in general, that it's impossible to know what the fuck is actually going on. Conley, yeah.
Be that you would come with a negative test. You say you don't know if you got a test on the day of the debate?
I had no problem. Again, the doctors do it. I don't ask them. I test all the time, and they...
Did you take a test, though,
yeah,
on the
Sean
day
Connery,
of the debate?
his
If you ask
doctor.
the doctor, they'll give you a perfect answer.
Yeah.
But they take a test, and I leave, and I go about my business.
Did you take a test on the day of the debate, I guess, is the bottom line?
I probably did, and I took a test the day before and the
Bullshit.
day before, and I was always in great shape. And I was in great shape for the debate, and it was only after the debate, like a period of time after the debate, that I said, that's interesting, and they took a test, and it tested positive.
So just to button it up, do you take a test every single day?
No, but I take a lot of tests.
Okay, and you don't know if you took a test the day of the debate?
Possibly I did, possibly I didn't. But, the doctor is very accurate information, and it's not only that doctor, it's many doctors. The one thing, if you're president, you have a lot of doctors you're surrounded by. But I was in great shape for the debate. And sometime after the debate, I tested positive.
Let's talk about...
That's when they decided
I have to say, by the way, I know we're just getting started, but I like the fact that the moderator will interrupt him while he's rambling to just move on to the next subject, because I do really appreciate that. Because, if you ask Donald Trump, if you give him the right primers, he will talk about any subject for an infinite length of time, so that moderators really have to come down hard on him. He will spend the entire 1 hour talking about how many doctors and how bigly and huge and many and good and very good the doctors are who treat the president of the United States. So she has to drag him over to the next one.
Let's go.
Okay, good. I hopefully provided some clarity for folks. Let's talk about the event that was held at the White House on the Saturday before you tested positive. Subsequent to that, 13 people connected to that event tested positive. There was an outdoor reception. You've seen the pictures. There was an indoor reception. People were not wearing masks. My question to you is, at this point in the pandemic, knowing what we know, shouldn't you have known better? Shouldn't the White House know better than to hold an event like that?
Well, they do a lot of testing in the White House. They test everybody, including me, but they test everybody. And something happened. But as far as the mask is concerned, I'm good with masks. I'm okay with masks. I tell people,
what does that have to do?
But just the other day, they came out with a statement that 85% of the people that wear masks catch it. So,
What? 85% of people who wear masks catch Do they put COVID in the mask? What? What the fuck is he talking about? I'm good with masks. I just heard that when you wear masks, little arms come out of the mask and they choke you to death. When you're not paying attention. I'm good with masks. The science. Many doctors say you choke on the mask. If you inhale too hard, the mask goes into your throat and you choke to death. Here's a debunk of that insane point. Wait, do I really need to click a link to debunk the idea that 85% of everyone who has ever worn a mask of the hundreds of millions of people in this country has gotten COVID-19? Sure. Fact check. Digging into Trump's false claim that CDC found 85% of people who wear masks get coronavirus. Facts first. Trump's claim is false. Okay. That's all the time I'm investing into that particular inquiry.
I didn't say that. I know that study.
Well,
That's
that's what I heard, and that's what I saw. And regardless, but everybody's tested, and they're tested often. And I also knew that, hey, I'm president. I have to see people. I can't be in a basement. I can't be in a room. I can't be.
What?
I have to be out.
You can see
And
people
I
with a
also
mask,
know-
though, right?
I can, but people with masks are catching it all the time. I mean, if you look at the governor of Virginia.
Dude, this is insane. He went from denying that masks are effective to saying, actually, I love masks. I've been in favor of masks the entire time. And now he's like, I'm the president. I can't just like wear masks. That would probably give me COVID if I wore the mask. I would get COVID from the mask. He'll just anything. He'll say anything.
He was known for a mask. If you look at Tom Tillis, a great guy, he always had a mask, and they caught it.
Well, there are pictures
it doesn't
of Tom
make you
Tillis actually
immune.
with one of Judge Barrett's kids not wearing a mask. But, you know, Chris Christie, he was part of your debate prep.
Yeah.
He was, I believe, at that event. He came out tonight. He was sick, very sick. He was in the hospital for about a week.
It's still worth wearing a mask, even if that was true. Listen, if every single person in America wore a mask, 100% of people who catch COVID would have masks. If every single human being wore a mask, that means everybody who got COVID would have been a person who wore masks. That's how statistics works. Masks don't make you immune. They decrease the likelihood of spreading it. That's the point.
I know
He
that.
came out tonight and said, I was wrong not to wear a mask.
Well, I mean, he
He's
has
an
to
idiot.
say that. I think it's great. He's a friend of mine. He's a good guy.
He's an idiot, though.
And
shouldn't
wrong
have
or
worn.
not wrong. You have to understand, as president, I can't be locked in a room someplace for the next year and just
Nobody's
say and do nothing.
safe.
And every time I go into a crowd, I was with the parents of our fallen heroes. These people are the most incredible people. And they came up to me, and they would hug me, and they would touch me. And I'm not going to not let them do it,
Now,
to
there
be
was
honest.
an event.
He's like a child, dude. He's incapable of not getting affirmation. It is so obvious that everything in his life is based around trying to get the affirmation his dad never gave him, dude. You know when you can read that in people? Like when you meet a person and it's so obvious they never got enough attention as a kid, and like every part of their personality is about trying to compensate for that. Trump is incapable of avoiding any opportunity to get affirmation, any hug, any kiss. That's probably why he was on Epstein's Island. He just thought he was popular with kids over there. That's why he can't denounce QAnon, because QAnon likes him. Anything that he does, everything he does is just about getting the fucking crowd. That's it. That's the only thing he cares about.
With the Gold Star
That was
families
exactly
the
right.
day
We had
after the Supreme
a
Court
Gold
event.
Star event with the most incredible people you've ever seen. And I could have chosen not to talk to him or to keep everybody away.
I can't
And
not
you know
hug.
what? And I don't think that's probably where it was caught, but maybe it
Well, I
was.
was going to say, you bring it up. You brought it up yourself. I mean, are you trying to suggest that? Do you believe a grieving military family gave you COVID?
No, I don't know where it came from. You don't know
Ooh, that was good, actually. I like that.
where it came from, and the doctors don't know where it came from. But as the president, I have to be out there. I also know.
Well, there's no one that says you can't be out there, but it's just about wearing masks and having, for example, your
But I know
rallies.
this.
Your rallies
As
don't
an
require
example,
masks.
No, I mean, let's see.
Dude, she's
Kamala,
on him.
She's got people now that people have it, and I'm not blaming
she's
her.
getting
I'm
them.
not saying, oh, she did a terrible thing. As president, I have to be out there. I can't be in a basement. I can't be locked in a very beautiful room someplace in the White House. And I want to see the Gold Star.
From Bunker Boy, by the way. I really liked it. He actually can't address the mask thing. He actually can't do it. He's not capable of doing it. She'll be like, you should wear a mask when you go outside. He'll be like, I can't spend my entire 4 years of my presidency locked in a refrigerator. I can't spend my entire presidency, a whole year, in an ice box, and they only feed me through an intravenous drip. I can't do that. I'm the president. Okay, well, what if you wore a mask when you go outside? I can't spend my entire time locked in a cupboard. I can't do that. They're having two completely separate conversations.
Families, and I want to see everybody. And I also say to people all the time, it's risky doing it. It is risky doing
But
it.
as
It's risky
president,
seeing people.
you're right. You want to be a leader. But you also are a leader and a setter of an example. And if you're not wearing a mask when your administration is saying best practice right now is wear a mask, no, it's not foolproof.
But many people are catching it. Many people are getting this disease that was sent to us by China, and it shouldn't have been allowed to happen.
Oh, there we go.
Many
Pivot.
people are getting this. And, I mean, nobody's being blamed. Everybody is working hard
Except
to
China.
get this thing out of our country, get it out of the world. Look at what's going on in Europe.
I can't believe, literally 2 consecutive sentences. This China, they sent it to us. It's terrible. But hey, don't blame people about how the virus spreads. Like, come on, dude. Don't blame people for that. Like, it just happens. It's unbelievable. Literally, like, sentence to sentence. It's incredible. Vosh, I popped in on Nick Fuentes' stream. He was literally praising Trump for dodging the questions. Yeah, no shit. Far-right people don't care about truth. They care about winning. The concept of empiricism, or like being right, like as a concept, like one idea being more correct than another idea, isn't actually a thing they consider. It's not a part of their worldview or mentality. It's not a part of their system. It's only domination, supremacy over minorities. That's it. And Trump dodging questions and just lying relentlessly is a part of that strategy, and it's worked for the entirety of his presidency.
Massive spikes.
In all fairness, we also care about winning. No. We care about winning because we're right. Very critical difference there. The reason I care about winning as a socialist isn't just because I value axiomatically the idea of my boot trampling on everybody else's face. It's because I think my ideas are good and I want them to, be represented in in our law and in our culture. And I'll defend those values using empirical information that I can defend. If advocacy for your ideas requires praising people for dodging questions, I think that's a pretty strong indictment of your position.
They've done a very good job, but now you take a look today at the UK, you take a look at Spain and France and Italy, there's tremendous spikes.
But our death rate is worse than, well, not Spain, but those other countries.
I have things right here that will tell you exactly the opposite.
Me too.
So the UK
Pulling
is
out
up
his
2,500%, because I knew you'd be doing this.
bracelet.
I know you very well. The UK is up 2,500%. The EU is up 722%.
Completely disconnected out of context statistics.
But we have, our deaths per capita is among the highest among industrialists.
Excess mortality, we're a winner on the excess mortality. And what we've done has been...
As opposed to the normal mortality. We're not, by the way. We're not good on the excess mortality at all. We're winning. We're doing very good. The term excess mortality kind of implies like a normal good amount of mortality, which I like it. I like the pivot to that term. It's always about finding the politically correct term for the Republican Party, Like, okay, we're killing hundreds of thousands of people. How are we going to sell this?
Amazing, and we have done an amazing job, and it's rounding the corner, and we have the vaccines coming.
Rounding the corner for 8 months now. This is the widest corner.
I got it. I had a choice: do nothing or use some of the things that we're looking at, like in this case, Regeneron. Yeah. And Eli Lilly makes something that's supposed to be
back to
incredible.
The shilling.
And I think that maybe I wouldn't be doing this discussion with you right now. We have therapies now and cures.
Guys, we're winding the curve. We're winding one of the curves. I don't know which part of the curve we're on or where we are in relation to the broader track, but there's a curve, and we're currently rounding it. And that's all I know, okay? We're rounding the curve. We've been doing this for a while now, actually.
Maybe you can use the word cure, but we have therapies that are absolutely incredible.
I want to pick up on something you just said. You said we're rounding the corner.
I believe we're rounding the corner.
Now, 10% of the country approximately has had COVID. That means 80, 90%, 90%, let's do the math, is still vulnerable.
Right.
There's been some talk, including from the White House lately, that perhaps it approves of what's called herd immunity. That's where you basically just let young people and everybody get sick. You try to protect the old people and those who are sick, and hopefully it gets up to a certain level, and now we're all immune. Yeah. So let's just be clear about it. It also,
by the way, completely bunked. The UK actually tried this approach early on, like, well, what if we all just burn it through and protect the elderly? Didn't work. Their deaths fucking spiked, and then they dropped it because it didn't work. It doesn't work. The whole herd mentality thing, it doesn't work. Yeah, Sweden tried it too. How are they doing, Doesn't work.
Means more deaths. Do you support herd immunity as a strategy? Essentially just let people get sick?
Yes or no?
The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself.
So
we
yes.
did the right thing. we were expected to lose 2,200,000 people and maybe more than that. We're at 210,000 people. One person is too much. It should have never happened because of China. It happened because of China. And you have to get that and understand that. But it shouldn't have happened. But we were expected to lose. If you look at the original charts from original doctors who are respected by everybody, 2,200,000 people.
That was if we did nothing, by the way. The 2,200,000 estimate was if Americans did literally nothing. If New Yorkers continued their long held tradition of doorknob licking, if people in Minnesota continued their old, the ye old practice of the quick spit and lick, of clasping each other's hands and sharing fluids, this is only if you continue practicing the old venerated American traditions of bonding and brotherliness that have brought us together as a nation for so many hundreds of years. But now that we have done lockdowns and have had people wear masks, the number go down.
Million figure, though, is if you literally did nothing. The 2 million figure is if you did absolutely nothing, it would be 2 million. The question is, should the deaths be better than...
To be perfectly clear, Trump here is taking credit for doing more than literally nothing. That's that right now. And by the way, most of the not nothing that we've done has been state governments. But like literally not, like he's like, yeah, well, we didn't do literally nothing. That's what he's actually trying to take credit for right now.
200,000 when relative to the rest of the world we have a worse death rate.
I left North Carolina, which I love. I left Pennsylvania. We won a big case in Michigan.
What? Hold on. I thought I was opening in the other tab. My bad. I love you guys.
You literally did nothing. The 2 million figure is if you did absolutely nothing, it would be 2 million.
I thought I was opening at the other tab.
Should the deaths be better than 200,000 when relative to the rest of the world we have a worse death rate?
I left North Carolina, which I love. I left Pennsylvania. We won a big case in Michigan because that governor has a lockdown where nobody but her husband can do anything. He can go boating and do whatever he wants, but nobody else can. The fact is we're winning all these cases because it's unconstitutional what they're doing. And I think they're doing it for political reasons. But the fact is the cure...
So this has been a long-standing Trump and Republican talking point that the lockdown stuff is only a Democrat ploy to hurt the economy. That after the election, after Biden takes in, they're going to lift the lockdown and the economy will go up. And that it's all like a political hoax. This is, of course, not the case. The funny thing is that Trump actually could have had such an insane fucking boost to his electoral chances come November if he had actually dealt with this properly. If Trump had actually doubled down and said, all right, motherfuckers, national lockdown, 2 months, here's some stimulus, just get it the fuck out of the way, cut immigration to every other country, and then start doing contact tracing, we could have gotten this underway better than almost any other country on earth because we have the money to front that kind of solution. But instead he doesn't. It's been this constant pitter-patter, back and forth, lockdown, unlockdown, lockdown, unlockdown, rounding the curve, unrounding the curve, rounding the curve, unrounding the curve. That's probably, let's be real, going to keep going for the next, year. Yeah. And because of that, now he has to deal with questions like this. He has to, well, when the Democrats try to save lives, they're trying to be political.
You can't let this continue to go on with the lockdowns.
Well,
and I believe that on November 4th, you're going to have a lot of these governors. Look at what's happening to New York. New York is a mess. They lost almost 40,000 people. They have a lockdown like you've never seen. Now they're open. It's like a ghost town.
New York handled COVID-19 extraordinarily well, unbelievably well, considering the fact that they have New York City. New York City is a disgusting cesspit. You people have to understand. Have you ever been to New York City? New York City is the closest thing we have to a dystopian futurescape, where you can look up from waking up from a bender and pull your head out of a gutter and just see neon glow and smog choked infrastructure as far as the eye can see. Now there's something beautiful about it, don't get me wrong, but New York City is an insanely densely populated city. New York City right now, if it had a Republican mayor and a Republican governor for the state, would be dead. Every single one of them would be dead. New York City would be like the plot of Pathologic, okay? It would be 800,000 people would die every single week, and survivors would be wandering the streets, breaking into houses and looting, okay? That would be the fact that New York City still exists is a testament to the incredible fucking tenaciousness of that city and of the people who have led it. So seriously, they keep trying to God, they wish New York City got fucked up. God, they wish New York City got fucked up. It makes them look so stupid when they keep pointing to New York City as some kind of failure when it did better than almost any other part of the country.
So that is very important. People are leaving New York by the thousands, and
what?
You're going to have a hard time ever building it up again.
What?
So
It's
that
New York.
Cure, that so-called cure that you talk about, it can't be worse than the problem. The problem is a bad problem.
We've got more questions on COVID, so let's drop it for now. We were supposed to, as mentioned, be watching you on a debate stage right now. We're not doing that, so let's clear up a few things from the last one. You were asked point blank to denounce white supremacy.
This is the fleeing California narrative that PragerU pushes. I mean, the Republicans can push this as much as they want, but the fact remains, cities will always, always, always be slanted massively towards Democrats, and more people are moving towards the cities. Give it some time. Austin is already pretty liberal. Houston's going to go the same way. Every major city, with a couple of exceptions, is going to slant towards Democrats. The reason being, people in cities get exposed to more ethnic, cultural diversity, and they have better opportunities at education. The more educated you are, the more likely you are to be Democrat. It's an inevitable fact. This is one of the reasons, by the way, why we need to get rid of the Electoral College, because in 40 years, 80% of the population is going to live in like 10 states, and we're going to have the election results being dictated by like the remaining 2 million fucking farmers and tractor repair contractors who live in the rest of the states. Now, by the way, I don't support the death of like Midland America. I think there are a lot of fucked up things that we've done to that part of our country, and I think it's largely a product of capitalism. But right now, that's the trend we're on. And if that is the trend we're heading down, I do not want the fate of a 330 million pop country being dictated by an extreme minority.
In the moment, you didn't. You asked some follow-up questions. Who specifically? A couple of days later, on a different show, you denounced white supremacy.
No,
my question to you is,
you've done this to me and everybody.
Does it seem like
I denounce white supremacy? Okay,
you did 2 days later.
I've denounced white supremacy for years, but you always do it. You always start off with a question. You didn't ask Joe Biden whether or not he denounces Antifa. I watched him on the same basic show with Lester Holt.
Dude, because Antifa fucking hates Joe Biden. That's the main difference, though. Like, Antifa people aren't running around with pro-Biden flags. White nationalists scream their support for Trump, okay? I can go online right now and find literally thousands of news postings, articles, pictures, whatever, of people Heil Hitlering in front of Trump memorabilia. You will not find people, except for me, I am the lone anarcho-Bidenist. So what you should really be saying is, Vice President Joe Biden, do you denounce Vosh? And depending on what he says, we'll see. We'll see how I respond.
And he was asking questions like Biden was a child.
Well, so this is a little bit of a dodge.
Everyone's unfair to me. The mods hate me.
Okay. What's your next question?
Do you feel? It feels sometimes you're hesitant to do so, like you wait a beat.
Here we go again. Every time, in fact, my people came, I'm sure they'll ask you the white supremacy question. I denounce white supremacy. Okay. And frankly, you want to know something? I denounce Antifa, and I denounce these people on the left that are burning.
There we go. What people always say, they always ask me if I denounce white supremacy. And you know what? Sure, I denounce white supremacy, but I also denounce Antifa. I denounce these looters. I denounce these rioters. Like, man, do you wonder why maybe people don't think you're being sincere when you denounce the white supremacy? Does anyone remember Notch, the guy who made Minecraft, and then he went kind of Nazi? Whoops. And on Twitter, somebody was like, do you denounce Nazism? And he was like, I denounce Nazism and all other extremist radical ideologies. No, just say you denounce Nazism. I denounce Nazism and communism. There's a reason for that, you know? By only being able to denounce one extreme while also denouncing the other, they equivocate both of them. And that's the thing, okay? White supremacists wish they were held in the same regard as Antifa, because Antifa is largely a non-violent, non-militant organization that supports protesters fighting back against fascists, and white supremacists want to see all of you put in mass graves. White supremacists want to be held on equal, Sorry, I didn't put my finger quotes up for organization. I apologize there. I should have signal posted that a little bit more. Antifa is a Soros-operated, well-oiled military machine. There we go. Sold it. But the white supremacists want to be equivocated with Antifa. They want that. So when people like Trump say, I denounce this and I denounce this, they're still supporting white supremacy. Imagine, for example, if we tone down the contrast a little bit, imagine if it's the 1960s and somebody's asked, do you denounce the KKK? And the Republican politician responds, or would it be Democrat back in the day? I guess it could be either, depending on which state they're in. I denounce the KKK, and I denounce the civil rights protesters who are terrorizing our towns with their zoot suits and their long pants, or something like that. No, it's not Kenneth. Listen, the Clone High voice. Can we? You know what? Back to the thing. Just nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys. Can we? Look, I said 60s and I just tried to do a voice and I thought 60s. Okay, just can we?
Down our cities that are run by Democrats who don't know what they're doing.
While we're denouncing, let me ask you about QAnon.
Oh.
It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
Okay, there is a 0% chance of him being able to do it. So
I know nothing about QAnon.
Bullshit.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is a satanic.
I don't know anything about them. All I know about them is they're very fine people fighting pedophilia, you know? I wish I could get a QAnoner to debate on stream, dude. QAnoners are pro-pedophilia. I need to do a little spiel on this. I know I've done this before, but this is very important. I need you people to understand this, okay? First of all, if you're QAnon, you're pro-pedophilia. Trump raped a 13-year-old girl who only dropped the only dropped the civil case because she was being spammed with death threats, okay? Trump bragged about how he entered a Miss Teen America pageant changing room while they were changing so we could see some little underage titties. Trump was close friends with Epstein and bragged about how both of them had a shared interest in young girls, okay? If you're anti-pedophile and you support Trump, you're a fucking lunatic, okay? If you actually care about pedophilia, here's what you should do. Try to end child homelessness with welfare programs, create organizations to provide support for children who are already homeless, fight sex trafficking, real sex trafficking, by the way, not made up George Soros, Democrat, Hillary Clinton, Pizzagate sex trafficking, actual sex trafficking. Thank you. And most importantly, you want to hear it? Teach sex education to kids. One of the main reasons why children get abused by their parents or by people in a elderly role is because they know the kid doesn't know what the fuck's happening to them. If you're like a little kid and you're sheltered because your Christian parents don't teach you anything about the birds and the bees, you know what happens then? You get raped by your uncle. You don't know what the fuck just happened. It was fun playtime with uncle. You don't fucking know. If you get these kids sex education, they know they're being abused. That's why these conservative communities fight against child sex education so adamantly. That is one of the reasons why. Oh, by the way, we can talk about Republicans being hugely in favor of the little child beauty pageants, or maybe we could talk about how millions over the course of America, and up till this day, several states still allow for child marriage, arranged marriage between underage girls and overage adults. And that's legal as long as you have the permission of the parents. And guess who keeps fighting laws to change that? Republicans. You can go look. Totally true, by the way. Completely fucking true. Republicans really like it when little girls get married off to adult men, you know? Roy Moore. Why did Roy Moore have to fucking rape a 14-year-old for him to have even the slightest chance of not winning his electoral fucking, his chances? Why? Why do Republicans like children getting raped so much? It's insane. They really do. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say Republicans are pro-pedophiles. If you ever want to know why do I say all conservatives are pedophiles, it's because fuck me, dude. It's like saying conservatives are racists. Like, is every individual conservative a racist? I mean, probably some of them are just kind of deluded. But if you look at the policies they support and the shit they keep doing, like, the pattern here is pretty fucking obvious. Yeah, here's an article that came out yesterday. QAnon's obsession with hashtag Save the Children is making it harder to save kids from sex traffickers. It turns out that a real problem like child sex trafficking is actually made much harder to solve when it gets obfuscated by a bunch of lunatic far-right cultists who are trying to turn the very real issue of child sex trafficking into a fucking political stunt to unearth the fucking Zionist documents that tell you how to dispel the lizard curse from Hillary Clinton to allow her to be killed. Like, that actually makes it harder to save the kids, believe it or not. These people are pro-pedophilia. Sorry. Get me a QAnoner on stream. Find me one to debate. I'll tell it to their face. I don't care how much of a boomer they are. They're 75 years old. Their grandkids don't call them. And the only thing they have left in life is Trump 2020. I'll tell him to his face. Yeah, you're pro-pedophilia. Quit being a QAnoner, dipshit. I'll give you a book to read. All right. We need to chill. Back at it.
Call run by the deep
study
state.
the subject. I'll tell you what I do know about. I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical left, and I know how violent they are and how...
Sorry, last one. One of the current QAnon and Pizzagate subreddits, r/Pedogate, has been banned 2 weeks after the mod revealed himself to be a pedophile. I remember this drama. It was really, really, really fucking funny. It was like Pedogate, like, let's unearth all the pedophiles. And it turns out the person doing it was a pedophile. Crazy, right? Just, what are you gonna do, folks? That's how it is. Hey.
Vicious they are, and I know how they're burning down cities run by Democrats, not run by Republicans.
Again, burning down cities. It's never they burn down this building or this block. It's burning down cities. Republicans actually think the city of Portland doesn't exist anymore.
Ben Sass said, quote, QAnon is nuts, and real leaders call conspiracy theories conspiracy theories.
He may be
Why not
right.
just say it's
Can I be
crazy and
honest?
not true?
He may be right. I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me ask you another.
First of all, he's a fucking coward. He's the president of the United States. There are people in Congress and congressional candidates who believe in QAnon. He absolutely fucking knows. And additionally, Trump's like, I don't know anything about them. I can't make any comments, but I've heard they're very anti-pedophilia. I'm very in favor of that. That's what I've heard about them. You know, that'd be like being asked about the Ku Klux Klan. Like, I don't know anything about the Ku Klux Klan, you know? I've heard they're very in favor of preventing the rape of white women, and I have to say, I'm not in favor of the rape of white women. So, I mean, that's, you know, I know that, but...
Let's waste the whole show. You start off
Waste
with
the whole
white supremacy. I denounce it. You start off with something else.
Yeah, I did this with David Duke,
Keep
too.
asking me these questions.
I do have one more in this vein.
Let me
One
just
more.
tell you, what I do hear about it is they are very strongly against pedophilia.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree
but
with
there's
it
not
very
a
strongly.
satanic pedophile
I have
cult
no
being run
idea.
by.
I know
You
nothing
don't know
about
that? Okay.
No, I don't know
you
that.
Just
and
this
neither
week.
do you know that.
Okay, just this week
This is an endorsement of QAnon, by the way. Oh, QAnoners looking for pedophiles. Okay, chill. Let's chill out, okay?
Why aren't you asking me about Antifa? Why aren't you asking me about the radical left?
Because you're
Why aren't
volunteering.
Because what are you gonna
asking
say
Joe
about
Biden questions about why doesn't he condemn Antifa?
Why don't you
does he
ask me
say it
questions
doesn't exist?
everyone
Because
knows
you're
the answer
Antifa,
to?
No, so cute. Antifa
So cute.
exists. They're vicious, they're violent, they kill people, and they're burning down our cities.
He never talks about white supremacists this way, by the way. Interesting. You know, he denounces both of them, but which one does he actually go on tirades about?
And they happen to be radical left.
Just this week, you retweeted to your 87 million followers a conspiracy theory that Joe Biden orchestrated to have SEAL Team 6, the Navy SEAL Team 6, killed to cover up the fake death of
Oh, yeah,
Bin
that was
Laden.
insane, by
Now,
the
why
way.
would you send a lie
I know
like that
nothing
to your
about
followers?
it.
You retweeted
That was a retweet. That
What?
was an opinion of somebody.
But
what?
That was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for
I don't get
themselves.
that.
I
You're
don't
the
take a
president.
position.
What? You're the president. What? I just retweeted. I thought it looked funny. I don't believe in it. You know, you can believe it yourself. What are you talking about, dude? Dude, Trump is like the most obnoxious fucking Twitter. Retweets are not necessarily my opinion. I just like to see the drama, you know? He's the fucking president. Are you kidding me? Remember, one of the members of SEAL Team 6 actually responded to that and said, "I know who I killed, fuck you." Holy shit. Yeah, a retweet is still a tweet. It counts in your tweets. It's a tweet.
You're not like someone's crazy uncle who can just retweet whatever.
That was a retweet. And I do a lot of retweets. And frankly, because the media is so fake and so corrupt, if I didn't have social media, I don't call it Twitter, I call it social media, I wouldn't be able to get the word out.
What?
The word is false.
And you know what the word is?
You're the president! What are you talking about? You're the president of the United States of America. What are you? Frankly, the way the media is, if I wasn't retweeting conspiracy theories, I would have no way of getting my. You can call a press conference. You're the president. This is insane. This is actually more insane than any other fucking Trump appearance I have ever seen. This is fucking incredible. This is unbelievable. He's getting more and more deranged the closer he gets. Yesterday he was retweeting people like Lauren Southern and Six Hexenhammer like neo-Nazis. He's at the point now where he's just retweeting neo-Nazis, and he's on here now, and he's like, well, I just retweet people, you know, it's just the fake news media. I have to.
The word is very simple. We're building our country stronger and better than it's ever been before. And that's what's happening, and everybody knows it.
Okay, we got a bunch of questions for you.
We're winning in a lot of states.
I wish you would call him a coward.
A lot of states.
Let me ask, okay, I'm glad you brought up the election because I do want to ask about that. That's another kind of leftover item. A lot of people have asked you, will you accept a peaceful transfer of power? You have said repeatedly, the only way we lose this election is if it is rigged. Now, that is simply not true. The fact is either candidate can lose fair and square without ballot fraud.
And
so will you accept the results of the election?
That's the way I want it to be. But when I see thousands of ballots, right, unsolicited ballots being given out by the millions, and thousands of
ballots being given out by the millions, my dude's brain is in a fucking bath right now. It is floating in a cocktail. Da Vinci?
Dumped in dumpsters, and when you see ballots with the name.
Oh, you mean like the QAnoner guy who found who gathered up 9 garbage bags of ballots and was going to throw them away in a Democrat area? Or you mean the Republicans in California who made fake ballot boxes to engage in actual illegal election fraud? Those people?
Trump military ballots from our great military, and they're dumped in
9 ballots.
That is a handful. We could go all night, which we won't. But we could go all night, one by one.
We don't even know why those 9 ballots were tossed out. That could have been a fucking guy who had collected them to deliver them, and then he saw a cute dog, and he threw them up in a elation, and then he chased the dog. And all of them landed in the garbage. We don't know. There's no plot there. We just found 9 ballots. That's it. There's no narrative here. It wasn't even all Trump ballots.
On a single case, a single day. You're talking about 150 million votes. Your own FBI director says there is no evidence of widespread fraud.
Well, then he's not doing a very good job. All you have to do is pick up the papers every day. 50,000 in Ohio, the great state of Ohio. 50,000 in another location, I think North Carolina. 500,000 applications in Virginia.
What applications for what? What is he talking about right now? 500,000. What is he referring to right now? But just ballots thrown away? There were not that many ballots thrown away under any circumstances. Fact checking some of the top claims President Trump made on ballots voting. What about the Virginia one? I don't see any of the 50,000, 500,000 ballot thing here.
No, there's a tremendous problem. But let me just tell you.
Oh, and VA people sent out ballots with typo or something, then resent them out. Oh, yeah, that's not election fraud. That's not how that works. That's not voter fraud.
They talk about the peaceful transfer, right? They spied on my campaign and they got caught, and they spied heavily on my campaign, and they tried to take down a duly elected sitting president. And then they talk about, will you accept a peaceful transfer?
Dude, this is QAnon signaling. He's still talking about how they attempted a fucking coup on him.
I will. but I want it to be an honest election, and so does everybody else. When I see thousands of ballots dumped in a garbage can and they happen to have my name on it, I'm not happy
didn't
about
happen.
that.
Those are there is in fact no evidence of widespread fraud, and you were sowing doubt about our democracy.
How can you say that? You do read newspapers.
I do.
You do watch the news.
Yes,
I know you read the news, but you watch it.
I do.
What?
Because every day they're talking about ballots that are corrupt, that are fraudulent.
He's literally just like, he gets all of his info from fucking OAN. That's it. That's the only thing. He's literally like, do you read the news? Oh, do you watch the news? You know why he specified watch instead of read? Because OAN is broadcast and doesn't have articles the way Fox News makes articles out of every claim it makes. He literally just sits on the couch watching OAN, and that's it. Or the Epoch Times is written down. So yeah, this is just QAnon shit. Can he even read? I don't know. Sources are still out. Oh yeah, 15.6 thousand people watching. That's fucking crazy. If you enjoy the stream, by the way, you should totally subscribe to the stream. I would love you very much if you did that. I would normally never sink so low as to ask for this in the middle of a segment, but you know what? I'm just so excited to see all of you here. It's making me queasy. Okay. Yeah. I give you the quality content best as I can. Okay. Give it a shot. I love you, personally. You know. Anyway.
And millions that are being processed right now.
But you can win a race. Take a look at me. You can win a race by 1%.
But why are you laying the groundwork for that right now? It's
I'm
like
not.
if I go play tennis
happen.
with my husband and I say my ankle's
Do you
hurting
know
right
what?
now.
I don't want that to happen. Okay. Savannah, I want it to be clean.
Okay.
I really feel we're going to win. But I want this to be clean. But it's sort of ironic that you and them talk about the peaceful transfer when I spent 3.5 years fighting off these maniacs, and now it turns out, everything's there, that they were the ones that dealt with Russia.
What?
And it's too bad.
Yeah,
But
okay.
peaceful transfer, I absolutely want that. But ideally, I don't want to transfer because I want to win.
Yes, and I think that your words will probably reassure.
I need to reiterate, there are unironically conservatives who think that Trump is some sort of alpha masculine man. All he ever does is complain. All he ever does is bitch and moan about how unfair life is. It's insane. These are the same people who will nod their heads and go, life isn't fair, snowflake. Sorry that your gender or whatever got you beaten up inside of the bathroom at Arby's. That's just life sometimes. And then they go watch Fox News and listen to the president complain for 20 minutes that his first term didn't count because the Democrats were mean to him. So true. Like these people are completely spineless. Trump has absolutely no integrity when it comes to like sucking it up or like recognizing that the shake isn't fair sometimes. Can you imagine if a Democratic Senate had done to him what a Republican Senate did to Obama for 6 consecutive years? Can you fucking imagine? Holy shit. He would personally be suicide bombing like the halls of the Senate. Like he would actually try to go out in a blaze of glory because only the veneration of God could possibly absolve him of the fucking righteous fury that he experiences watching happen to him what happened to his political opponent.
Folks, let's get to our first voter. We've got Jacqueline Lugo.
Oh, here we go.
Now, she is, I told you this audience is truly split between y'all. You are leaning Biden. She voted for Clinton in 2016. She's registered as an independent. Jacqueline, what's your question for the president? And you hold the mic up close and take off your mic because it's hard to hear out here.
Good evening.
How are you?
Welcome to Miami.
Thank you very much. It's beautiful.
Mr. President, if you knew COVID-19, as you told Bob Woodward in February.
As what?
As you told Bob Woodward in February, was airborne and deadlier than the flu, why did you only put in place a travel ban from China and not put in place other measures mitigating the spread of COVID-19, potentially saving tens of thousands of American lives?
Well, I did put it in very early, as you know. Joe Biden was 2 months behind me, and he called me xenophobic and racist and everything else because I put it in.
Not true.
And it turned out that I was 100% right. I also put it on Europe very early because I saw there was a lot of infection in Europe. And it's sort of an amazing question. And
Trump's whole re-election strategy is pretending that Joe Biden was the president for the past past 4 years, you know? You remember the fucking campaign ad where it was like taking a look at Joe Biden's America and it was Trump looking at like a burnt building or something? These people are fucking insane.
Appreciate the question and respect the question, but the news doesn't get out the right answer because I put on a travel ban far earlier than Dr. Fauci thought it was necessary, who I like, far earlier than the scientists. I was actually the only one that wanted to put it on, and I did it actually against the advice of a lot of people, including Nancy Pelosi, who had no clue what she was doing, and Biden. When I put on the travel ban, I put it on in January, the end of January.
So he's saying the travel ban here sort of ubiquitously because he doesn't want to reaffirm the fact that the travel ban was from China, and that he spent an entire month before doing the travel ban to Europe, in which a period of time over which he did absolutely nothing. The travel ban from China was probably at a fine point in time. Like that was like a reasonable time to do it, I guess, given the information that he had. But the Europe ban only came a month later, and he did nothing between the China ban and the Europe ban, even though he knew the virus was ravaging the rest of the world.
When I put on the travel ban, Joe Biden and others said, "This is ridiculous. You don't do that." Well, Dr. Fauci said I saved thousands and thousands of lives.
Did you?
I was early. I was extremely early when I put on the travel ban.
Can I ask you, did your national security advisor on January 28th in the Oval Office warn you that this would be the greatest national security risk of your administration?
No,
he didn't say it, or you don't remember?
I read it someplace. Maybe Woodward said it or something. But no, he did not say that. But I knew it was a big threat. At the same time, I don't want to panic this country.
There we go. Bring it back to that rhetoric.
Everybody's going to die. Everybody's
Isn't there a middle ground? You don't have to mislead, but you can.
No.
So to clarify, he doesn't want to get the stockholders to panic. The only reason he did what he did, remember how just like 1 month into COVID-19, there were all those political commentators who were talking about how it's time for us to open back up because the stock market is plummeting and they were all getting nervous about their portfolios? That's what he's talking about. He doesn't give a fuck if the people panic. He doesn't give a single shit. And you know that because of the way he talks about Antifa. He doesn't give a fuck about people panicking at all. In fact, he likes people panicking if that panic gets them to vote for him. But yeah, no. That early shit, the aversion to a lockdown, is 100% about stock line go up.
There's not a middle ground. You have to be safe, you have to be vigilant, and you have to be smart.
You're going to like this next couple of voters. It's a mom and a daughter.
Good.
Mom, Barbara, voted for you in 2016. She's leaning to vote for you again. Now, her daughter was too young to vote last time. She's going to vote for her first time in a presidential campaign, and she is leaning Biden. So imagine the dinner table at their house, okay? So, Barbara, why don't you go first and ask your question?
Make them fight.
Bienvenido a Miami.
Thank you.
Mr. Trump, as a frontline ER doctor working through the coronavirus pandemic, I know firsthand, and I've seen that many hospitals throughout the United States are suffering financial hardships. These economic effects are trickling down to the frontline workers.
Trickle down!
We are being, across the country, frontline workers are being fired, they're being furloughed, our salaries are being cut.
Also, I just want to say, I just can't fathom what would lead a frontline worker to vote for Trump. It's actually insane to me. I assume, I'm just guessing because we're in Florida, that she's a descendant, she's Cuban. I'm just guessing that. I just have a feeling. This is the only Hispanic voter base that Republicans can consistently get. And it's pretty fucking funny. In case you guys are wondering, there are two main reasons. There are two main reasons why Cubans in America are so fucking conservative. The first one is that a lot of the Cubans over here in America are descendants of the people who had to flee the Castro regime. A lot of them were slave owners and property owners. Fuck them. Some of them were not. There were a lot of people. The transition from Batista, it was, you know, there was some turmoil. Not all of them were terrible human beings. They just became them when they came here and became conservative. But the other reason was because JFK, a Democratic president, was the one who orchestrated the disastrous Bay of Pigs invasion, where they got a bunch of Cuban expats, gave them all a bunch of little cork guns, and then shipped them off in like a raft over to Cuba, and gave them the thumbs up and said like, hey, we'll help you out when you make it to the shore, okay? You know? Yeah. Well, my day be so fine, and then boom, Bay of Pigs. Yeah, it's not, yeah. It's not good. The Bay of Pigs was, oh yeah, then they all fucking died. It was actually, like, when you actually think about it, the Bay of Pigs invasion it's actually like a comedy skit. Like, think about this for a moment. You're the president, okay? You're the president. You're thinking right now. Your brain is being used to think, okay? What do I want to do about Cuba? What if I take a bunch of fucking civilians who left Cuba and I just send them back with guns, and this like barely trained militia will overthrow the revolutionary army of Castro. And then we abandon them when they get there anyway. I don't know. It's not good, folks. All right, So anyway, that's the reason why so many Cubans are the US literally supported Batista before Castro came to power. Yeah, of course. America loves fucking dictators, obviously.
And this is also happening in other economic sectors as well, including the travel industry and hospitality.
Right.
My question to you is, how are you going to get the United States back on track, both in terms of the economy and the pandemic?
So it's happening. We just set a record, 11.4.
Vosh, people are using slurs in chat. All right. Fucking chill, okay? The Gusano thing is very, like, contentious in the extent to which it could be reasonably described as a slur. I don't think that Gusano is a slur in the same way the N-word is. It's also probably kind of a dicey word to use, so maybe chill, okay? I don't like, when people equivocate Gusano to a slur the same way like the N-word is, I cringe, because I know they're Destiny fans. But, yeah, no, probably chill with that. Gusano means worm. Am I missing context? It's a derogatory term specifically used to refer to a given ethnic group. I don't think that saying it's a bit dicey with its usage is probably that's like saying, well, the N-word only means black in Spanish. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's what it's used for. Okay, chill.
4 million jobs. We are going to have a phenomenal third quarter, which will be announced on November 1st, just prior to the big November 3rd day, where I think you're going to see a red wave. But we're going to have a tremendous announcement. I believe. I mean, we're going to find out. But GDP is going through the roof. Jobs, real estate, houses, so many things are happening. So people were saying we're going to have a 42% unemployment. Look, this was a thing that came into our country, and it happened more than 100 years ago, and it happened now. They were talking about a 42% unemployment rate.
Who was talking about that? I heard 20%.
I'm sorry, who the fuck was talking about a 42 unemployment? A 42% unemployment rate sustained would be like the death of the country. Who that must have been some extreme fucking estimate. Like made right when the unemployment benefit claims were like spiking. Yeah.
At 7.8% unemployment, and people can't even believe it.
What?
Our economy, 0.2% unemployment rate.
Who was talking about that? I heard 20%.
It just came out at 7.42% unemployment rate.
Who was talking about that? I heard 20%.
It just came out at 7.8% unemployment, and people can't even believe it.
Wait, is our unemployment at 7.8 right now? Let me see. Civilian unemployment rate, Bureau of Justice Statistics. Huh, son of a bitch, it actually is. Man, that's a wacky spike. Look at that. We're down to 7.9% right now. Okay. I mean, it was down here, I guess. Yeah, it depends on the metric, true. If you look at underemployment as well, that's the U3, not the U6. Well, people typically use the U6. Let's take a look at people typically use the U3. Let's see, U6. Okay, for U6, we're at 14.2%. Yeah. I found unemployment 41% in a 2016 article. Okay, well, I don't think that's relevant necessarily.
Believe it. Our economy is going to be next year, if we don't have somebody that raises taxes and quadruples taxes, which they want to do and kills everything.
Wait,
our economy is going to be phenomenal next year. We're going to have a phenomenal. And I'll tell you, Savannah, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country last year, including the state of Florida, where we are now, and Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, and Ohio, every place. We had the greatest economy we ever had. We had to close it down. We saved 2 million lives. We're opening it up. We have a V-shape. and it's coming back. It's coming back very fast. One other thing, we really helped the hospitals. We've sent billions and billions of dollars to the hospitals. In addition, hundreds of millions of masks and gowns. And we went into the ventilator business because this country was not equipped with ventilators. And I'm not blaming anybody for it. But we're now making thousands of ventilators a month. And we have all we can use. We're sending them all over the world because the world needs them. So they've worked very hard and really very, very effectively.
The reason he's not blaming anyone is because it's his fault, by the way. Hospitals still don't have enough supplies or money, and we're also starting to climb back up towards hospital capacity in some parts of the country, which will massively increase the death rate. Also disbanded the pandemic team, also didn't do the European lockdown. Yeah, what are you going to do, folks?
Thank you. Great question.
Let's talk to Isabella. Put the mic close to your mouth. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. President, my parents are, as you heard, both frontline healthcare workers, and I've seen the physical and the mental tolls that this pandemic has taken on them firsthand, as well as the exacerbation of coronavirus due to Americans who are not wearing masks or participating in social distancing. After contracting COVID-19 yourself, has your opinion changed on the importance of mask wearing?
No, because I was okay with the masks. I was good with it, but I've heard many different stories on masks.
Dude!
I had, being president, you have people, they bring meals, they bring this, and I had an instance recently where a very wonderful person is bringing me a meal, and he's playing with his mask, and he's touching his mask all over the place, and then he's bringing a plate in, and I'm saying, well, I don't know if that's so good.
Is this the story that he used to say that millions of waiters didn't want to wear masks at the presidential debate? Do you remember that, like 2 weeks ago? He was like, I know who doesn't want to wear masks. Waiters, it's this one time. He saw one waiter, like, adjusting his mask, and he was like, now I'm going to use this one. It's the same fucking story. Dude, I love this guy. Whether or not he is pro-mask usage or actually masks aren't even that effective completely depends on who's asking him, what time it is, and what the fucking moon, waning, waxing, full, retrograde. It's completely arbitrary. But just a week ago, he was like, I'm very pro-mask, very good. Masks are good. Everyone should wear. A week before that, he was mocking Biden for wearing masks. The week before that, he was saying he's incredibly pro-mask. No one's ever been more pro-mask than me. I was pro-mask since the beginning. And now he's back to, it's all a hoax. 85% of people who wear masks, the masks themselves give you COVID.
The good news, I didn't eat it, okay? I decided not to eat it. This was a month ago. But look, you have on the masks, you have two stories. You have a story where they want, a story where they don't want. I am all for it.
I don't get that because it's just all of your public health officials, your administration, they're in unison about this.
Oh, sorry, it was the Chris Wallace interview, not the debate. Okay, so that goes back even further. So he's actually had this waiter story in mind for like 2 months.
They're all in unison about it. The University of Washington, which is they have a model that your coronavirus task force relies on, says that if everyone wore a mask, you could cut expected deaths in half.
And then you have other people that disagree.
Well,
what other people?
If you look at Scott, Dr. Scott, he's from great guy, Stanford. He will tell you that
he's not an infectious disease expert.
Oh, I don't know. Look, he's an expert. He's one of the great experts of the world.
But I don't get it because you have so much power and influence as president.
So he found one guy who he likes who disagrees. This is insane.
You could require it at your rallies, and you could say, everyone put on a mask right now. And the University of Washington says you would save lives.
University of Washington, then you have other places say different
things. Then you have the one guy.
Hey, Dr. Fauci said don't wear a mask, right?
At first, but then everybody agreed.
7 months ago.
He changed his mind. But then you have a report coming out 2 days ago that 85% of the people wearing masks.
I looked at that report. No. It's not about mask wearing. It was neutral on the question of masks.
We're on the same side. I say wear the mask. I'm fine with it. I have no problem. We're on the same side.
Let's take a break.
We're on the same side. I'll just invoke the most insane fucking conspiracy to justify people not wearing masks. By the way, the only reason why he's saying all this mask stuff is ambiguous is because he doesn't want to front the blame for him and his contemporaries in the Republican Party not wearing masks and not social distancing. That's the only reason. If it weren't for the fact that the White House now has more COVID cases than the entire state of New Zealand, he would probably be like, oh yeah, masks are good, masks are great, they work, fantastic, we should use them. But because he made a fucking clown of himself and the Republican Party made clowns of themselves. Oh, sorry. A country is a state in the political science sense. Eventually all countries will be American states. Okay. now he has to go back to the, well, maybe they don't work thing to cover his ass.
We're going to get more questions right after this.
Bum, 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 bum. Oh, look at that face!
We're going to get more questions right after this.
He's like, I don't know about this one. The high's wearing off. It's been 72 minutes since I was last injected with horse steroids. I'm trying to. They're being very unfair to me. They aren't even talking about how great the economy was before I tanked it. Power walking. Good, great. Oh yeah, this was a live stream, so it's in real time. Okay, let's skip ahead. Oh, okay.
Miami with President Trump for a town hall. Live in Miami with President Trump for a town hall. Thank you again, Mr. President. We have another voter now, Christy Alonso. Come on out, Christy. She is leaning slightly towards you. She says she voted for you in 2016. Christy, you ready? Take the mask off, hold the mic close, and let's hear your question.
Thank you for your service, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
What's service? Wait,
working middle class.
Wait, is that typically something you say to the President of the United States? Isn't that something you usually say to soldiers? Wait, he had bone spurs. Wait, he skipped out. Not that I'm making fun of him, by the way. Draft dodging is the only cool thing Donald Trump has ever done in his life.
Family of 4. My husband and I are both self-employed, and we have to get our own individual health care. As you know, healthcare costs have gone up considerably over the decades, and you had originally said you were going to repeal and replace Obamacare. What is your plan now in 2020 to make healthcare costs affordable for Americans like myself?
So we got rid of the individual mandate on Obamacare, which was the worst part of Obamacare, and now you could actually say it's not Obamacare, because that's how big it was, where you had to pay a fortune for the privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance. So
wait, what? Wait, what? The point of the individual mandate was that people shouldn't have to be paying the penalty for not having health insurance because they get the health insurance. Because the health insurance now has to pay nothing. Okay, just let's.
We got rid of that. That was a big, big thing. And by doing that, and we will always have, by the way, we're always protecting people with pre-existing conditions, and I can't say that more strongly.
Bullshit.
But we've been able to bring healthcare costs way down. Now, I took over Obamacare.
Wait, no you haven't. Wait, healthcare is insanely fucking expensive right now. What the fuck are you talking about? There are people in my community who have talked about how they have to spend like 15 to 20% of their income on health insurance. Like, it's insane. And how has it gone down?
Got rid of the individual mandate, made it good, managed it much better. Remember, they had the $5 billion website disaster and all of the problems they had.
What?
The problem with Obamacare, it's not good. We'd like to terminate it, and we want a much less expensive health care that's a much better health care.
Dude, this is what he says every time. We want to get rid of Obamacare. We want to make a health care that's cheaper and that's better. Well, great. Wouldn't we all? Remember him back at the beginning of the presidency? No one could ever have imagined how complicated healthcare is. Remember that? Remember that? He was like, no one knew this. So I thought there were levers on the Oval Office desk. Where healthcare good, healthcare bad. I didn't know there was like policy. I can't like a wish list is not a plan. The Republicans have had 12 years to come up with an alternative healthcare plan. They have never done it. It's been 12 years. It has been so fucking long. It has been so long that if you were entering first grade back when Obamacare came out, you are now old enough to vote. And over the course of your life, from fucking first grade to your entire education, they have not come up with another healthcare plan at all. They have not come up with another healthcare plan for the entire length of the age of, what's a 12-year-old anime character? Ash Ketchum? Maybe? That guy. Ash is 11. Then for Ash is 10? His parents let him do that shit? He's 10? He's not even, okay. All right. I think that's irresponsible, personally. I don't support that. Well, the point is, the Republicans have, let me be perfectly fucking clear, literally zero interest in giving you health care at all. Literally none. Absolutely none. The only way forward for this country, the only way we can improve this country's healthcare situation is detaching healthcare from your job, because that's insane. How is that? That's insane. Whoever decided that was a good idea, that it should be attached to your fucking job? That's insane. Detach it, and either some kind of public option, which is what Biden wants, or preferably, hey, you know where I am, Medicare for all, completely decommodified healthcare. Both of them are cheaper than what we have now. Both of them are better. The only reason the Republicans are not doing anything better is because they are in the pocket of the insurance agency industry, which makes hundreds of millions of dollars every single year from fucking you in the ass. I need to be really, really, really clear about this, okay? Have you ever wondered why sometimes Americans get hospital bills for $80 trillion when they go in to get like a splinter removed from their finger? You've seen those pictures, right? Here's the emergency room bill, $1 trillion. You've seen that, right? You know why? Here's the simple version of why that is, okay? If you have insurance, you don't have to pay that. Do you think your insurance company pays $1 trillion? Serious question. Do you actually think that's what happens? Do you actually think that's what your insurance company pays? Nope. See, the doctors and the insurance company are in an agreement, okay? The insurance companies are given by the hospital a super duper extra bonus 90% discount pass. Only they get it. And what they say, the hospitals, is, you got treatment at our place, we are going to make up a number. The highest number we can think of. 1 quadrillion. That's the amount of dollars you have to pay, son. Sorry. Oh, you have insurance? Okay. Hello, insurance company. The actual number is $100. Fork up. That's how it works. They just make up numbers. This isn't a joke. You think this is funny? If you don't have insurance, you're dead in this country. Unless you're rich, like really, really rich, you're dead. You need the insurance. And the insurance keeps costing more and more and more and more and more. And it doesn't need to, because the insurance companies don't have to pay shit when they actually pay out. Because everyone's fucking deductibles and premiums are so goddamn high, these people are making hundreds of millions of dollars for nothing. The only reason these insurance companies exist is because they're profitable. If they weren't, they wouldn't exist. There has never been in the history of this country a major medical insurance company that has gone under because they actually charged premiums that were necessary to pay off the medical debts that they incur when their services are used by the people who pay them. That is how it works. Oh yeah, and the insurance companies want this interaction, by the way, because the higher the prices the hospitals charge, the more people need insurance companies. It's an incestuous relationship that fucks you for nobody else's benefit. It costs us more per outcome in the United States than other countries with better outcomes. All right, sorry. We got lost in the weeds a little bit here. I just want you guys to know it's bad. Yeah, sorry.
That's where we're aiming. And if we can do that, and we have a very good chance of doing it, but we've also brought down the price of Obamacare. Problem with Obamacare, It basically is never going to be great. And I want to give great health care.
The problem with Obamacare is it's bad, and I like good things. This guy, he's such a fucking moron, dude. Even if I was Trump, if you could just put my brain in Trump and someone held a gun to my head and said, you have to keep the game up, otherwise we'll kill your family, I could bullshit way better than he could. I think, honestly, his stupidity is the selling point, though. If he actually went on this roundabout, dishonest explanation, he would lose his dumb fuck followers. But because he's a fucking idiot, his idiot supporters can just clap like seals anytime he lies to them.
Mr. President, I got to follow up on the pre-existing conditions. This is such a big issue for voters.
It is a big issue for me, too.
In point of fact, your administration is about to go to the Supreme Court to argue to throw out the rest of Obamacare, which includes the protections for pre-existing conditions.
That's right.
So your administration is in court right now trying to get rid of that protection.
In order to replace it with a much better health care at a much lower price. And
where's the plan?
Under all circumstances, we are going to protect the Republicans. And I mean, maybe I changed the party a lot over the last 3 years, but we will protect people with pre-existing conditions.
Where's
Savannah,
the plan?
What I want to do get rid of the terrible Obamacare. I've already done it to a large extent because, as you know, the individual mandate is gone. That was the worst part.
You repealed, but you haven't replaced. Now, you've been in office almost 4 years.
What we have done.
You had both houses of Congress, Senate and House, in Republican hands,
That's
and
right.
there is not a replacement yet.
That's right. I'm sorry, but if you look, we had both houses, and what did we do? We got rid of the individual mandate.
You failed. McCain voted against you, and for that reason, you weren't able to repeal, but you've never put forward a plan to replace.
The promise was repeal and replace.
Look, we should be on the same side. I want it very simple. I'm going to put it very simple. We would like to terminate it, and we would like to replace it with something that's much less
expensive
make a plan
and
much better. We will always protect
write it
people
out
with pre-existing
But if you're
conditions.
successful
and
in
here's
court
the thing.
in November, those pre-existing conditions, that promise will be gone.
If we don't succeed, we are running the remnants of whatever's left because we took it apart. We are running the remnants of whatever is left much better than the previous administration, which ran it very badly. But we'd like to have new health care, much better and much less expensive.
Let me get to question number 5, and you'll like this. He's stuck in traffic. His name is Joe White. He is registered as a Democrat. He says he's leaning toward Biden. And
just to be clear, like, we are legitimately within probably a couple of weeks of we are within a couple of weeks of pre-existing conditions no longer being covered. Do you, statistically speaking, there are probably a 4-digit count number of people watching this stream right now who will lose their insurance because all of a sudden the insurance companies that you get your insurance from are going to say, I don't know about that. I don't know about that insulin you need, buddy. I don't really know about your family history of heart disease. I don't really know about that one. We're actually within a couple of weeks of that. Okay? Just so you know.
And Biden had voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. And his question was, a second stimulus payment has been broadly agreed upon by the Republicans and Democrats, and yet now we're in October and it's still not passed. Why not use your office to make the second stimulus payment a separate targeted emergency relief package to help Americans weather the pandemic?
Well, we've actually passed 3 packages, and we're on our 4th. And I agree with him 100%. He should vote for me. The problem you have is Nancy Pelosi. She couldn't care less about the worker. She couldn't care less about our people. And we should have a stimulus. And I want a stimulus. The Republicans.
Keep in mind, the Republicans and Mitch McConnell have been blocking a stimulus for the entire fucking length of COVID. Just be perfectly clear with that. Keep that in mind. We can talk about the logistics of Pelosi trying to like like stall and hardwall right now for political gain. Fine. It's a complicated question, but the Republicans want you all fucking dead, okay? Oh yeah, didn't Mitch McConnell just shut down Trump's 1.3 stimulus, like recently? Yeah, Mitch McConnell is continuing to kill bills even put out by the White House. Which actually gives a lot of credence to the idea that Mitch McConnell and other Republican senators are kind of abandoning Trump because they know he's not going to win, and that they don't want to, they care more about preserving their relationship with the businesses that own them than they do with Trump himself, which is interesting because that would actually mean Kyle Kulinski was right. So, hey, I'll just say this. If all this pans out the way Kyle Kulinski predicted, I was totally wrong. Credit to your political instincts there. Kyle, I didn't expect Mitch McConnell to actually abandon Trump in favor of preserving his financial relationships. But if that's the case, yeah, that's a sick shot from you. But we'll see.
Republicans will approve a stimulus. The problem is she doesn't want to do it because she thinks it's bad for her election. The fact is she's wrong because people know she's in our way. She's not approving it. She doesn't appreciate our people, and she doesn't appreciate at all our workers. Nancy Pelosi, we are ready to sign and pass stimulus, but she's got to.
People do not love the back and forth of Washington, but this has been a roller coaster. Back in early October, you one day tweeted, no more negotiations until after Election Day. I'm walking away. Then I think the next couple of days you said maybe we can do something targeted.
Yeah, remember that when Trump said, we're not going to negotiate any of this anymore. And then the drugs kicked in. He was like, wait. No, somebody showed him his re-election chances, and somebody was like, wait, my dude.
Then you said, I want a big, big bill. But then Senate Republicans said, no, we're not for that. So you're the big deal maker. How come this is so, you yourself have changed position?
Oh, no. Oh, no. No. Ooh. Updated yesterday. What are you going to do, folks? Look at the top of his head. Only 1.8 trillion? Well, that's what Pelosi was saying anyway, but yeah. Bro, does McConnell want to lose? No. This is actually a long-standing political tradition in dying political parties. A political party isn't just its president. It's made up of a lot of powerful people, Mitch McConnell being one of them. Mitch McConnell has a relationship he wants to maintain with powerful people who, fork out the cash that's needed for stimulus. And those people don't want a stimulus. Those people would rather all of you desperate and starving, the economic elite of this country. And Mitch McConnell is thinking, well, Trump's probably on the way out anyway. Might as well just do what the wealthy people are telling me to do anyway. The only solution to this, because keep in mind, by the way, if we win the presidency but we don't win the Senate, all of this is for nothing. All of this is for nothing. Because McConnell is going to continue to block every single fucking bill that tries to get passed. The only victory here is a total fucking blowout. What's the 538? That's a great question. It's still 87-13 for Biden versus Trump, which is not enough for me personally. We need to get those numbers way up. For the U.S. Senate, it's 73-27, meaning it's basically a 3-1 odds on the Democrats winning the Senate. That's not enough for me. I want these numbers to go up, up, up. I want that to be 80-20. I want that to be 88-12. I want that to be 99-1. I want it to be 101 to -1. I want our numbers to be so high that there is a statistically probable chance of a Democratic senator entering the negaverse to get a reverse Senate seat where they will be seated on the underside, the understudy of the Senate floor, and their screams of agony will be interpreted as affirmations whenever a Democratic bill is passed. Okay? That is what I want. That is our only chance.
Did you ever hear of a word called negotiation? We're negotiating, okay?
What?
But people's lives are hanging in the balance.
And you know who I'm negotiating against? Nancy Pelosi, because she doesn't want to give the money. We should have stimulus. This was not our people's fault. This was China's fault. And she's penalizing our people. I'm ready to sign a big, beautiful stimulus. You saw the other day, I say, go big or go home, right?
That's what I
want it to be big. I want it to be bold. I want the money to go directly to the people. Are
Senate Republicans with you? They're going to go big?
They'll go.
Big old number?
They'll go. They're going to be
okay,
very
because so
happy.
far they haven't.
Nope. Senate Republicans going to go along with you? Yeah, for sure. Nope.
I know, because I haven't asked them to, because I can't get through Nancy Pelosi.
Wait. Is Trump saying the only reason the Senate Republicans haven't affirmed support for the bill is because he hasn't gotten it through Pelosi yet? Like they're only allowed to say they'll support it until after Nancy Pelosi in the House supports it?
If Nancy Pelosi and I, through my representatives or directly, I don't care. If we agree to something, the Republicans will agree to it.
Okay. Our next question comes from...
Does he think like Pelosi is like physically blocking the halls of the Senate? Like, no, you can't get through me. You can't get through me till we pass the deal. Like McConnell's in a room somewhere behind her and she's like, you can't, you're never going to see him, Donald. Like, how does he, you can call Mitch and get his support beforehand.
Oh, this is interesting. She voted for Clinton in 2016, but recently changed her registration from Democrat to independent. She says she's truly undecided. Her name's Becky Lightman. Hello, Becky. What's your question?
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you. So, corporate tax rates are a hot button issue, and you have cut corporate tax rates, and your opponent Joe Biden is planning to raise them.
Right.
A lot of Americans think that corporations don't pay their share of taxes and want to see those tax rates increase. Right. What do you say to those Americans to maybe tell them why you want the corporate tax rate lower and why that helps them?
Softball question. Why don't you get, Mr. President, sir, why don't you give everyone the opportunity to listen to you tell why lowering taxes for multi-billionaires is actually good for America? Yeah, she's a plant.
Great question. We've created more jobs than this country has ever created. We're up to 160 million jobs. We were never even close to that number. We were just hitting 160 million jobs. Companies are pouring into our nation because of the tax rate. And if Biden comes in and raises taxes on everybody, including middle income taxes, which he wants to do, you will blow this thing and you'll end up with a depression, the likes of which you've never had. That's what's.
Remember when under FDR, we had a massive corporate tax rate on the upper ends and we still built the most powerful country in the world at the time, and corporations didn't leave this country because there were other reasons they would want to stay here? Hey, guys, let me tell you the lie you've been sold. If you're watching and you're a capitalist or a soak them or some shit like that, let me blow you the fuck out, okay? The American economy in the future is not going to be based on our manufacturing. Manufacturing jobs are never coming back. It's not happening. Why would America, which makes infinitely more money with its intellectual property, cultural development, service economy, and tech work, ever go back to fucking manufacturing? They only talk about this to get a voter base in the Rust Belt. That's it. We can get these people better jobs, but we don't. We don't even try to. We just use them for points, okay? Why do these people talk so much about keeping the corporate tax rate low so corporations stay here? Well, you want to incentivize corporations to stay here, right? Right? Well, here's the thing, people. In the old days, all these fancy-pantsy, highfalutin, new age jobs were incentivized to stay here in the United States, not because of the low corporate tax rate, but because we were the only country with the infrastructure and educated population capable of supporting those companies. That was what made us great. That was how we incentivized corporations to stay here, because of our incredible infrastructure, because of our incredible level of civic and social development, because of our incredible level of education. Now, we don't have that. We're falling behind. Math and sciences, we're shit. India produces way the fuck more tech proficient people than we do because we don't give a fuck about our education. America doesn't have anything to incentivize corporate investment anymore except for two key things, one of which works and one of which doesn't. Low corporate tax rates, which lets corporations rape this country and give nothing in return, or the high wages of the working class. This is what people learned back after the Gilded Era, you know, the Ford days. It turns out that if the average person in a country has a lot of money, that's more money for them to spend on shit. The fact that so many Americans are poor these days is an economic depressant because we can't buy shit. We can't consume as much because we're poor. Now, this all feeds into the infinitely, cyclical nature of capitalism and infinite expansion. That's all bad. But in terms of immediate corporate investment, in terms of making corporations interested in staying here, the solution here is not to say, oh, please, God, stay here. We won't charge you anything. You won't have to pay any taxes. In fact, we'll pay you to stay. That's the cucked-ass answer, okay? The based-ass answer is that we invest enough into the people in our country that only our population is capable of sustaining whatever business adventures they plan on doing. And this is all capitalism. I'm not denying that. But as long as we live in capitalism, how about we approach this a little bit more sensibly? Less corporations raping our country, more we use that money to invest in our population, which makes corporations want to work with us, okay? How is this supposed to be a debunk of not socialism, Vosh? Wait, it's not a debunk of not socialism. It's saying as long as we live in capitalism, let's do the not worst version of it. That makes sense? You know? Like, for example, I don't like gender as a concept, like as a social concept. I don't like gender that much, but that doesn't mean I can't say, hey, as long as we have men and women, we should probably teach men and women to behave reasonably. Like, I thought you were going to slam soak dems, though. No, I was going to talk about a good way to approach the current problem. All right.
Going to happen. We have something that's really good. The reason we're coming back so strong is because we built a very strong foundation. Companies are moving in. Car companies are moving into Michigan, into Ohio, into South Carolina and North Carolina just today. So what's happening is they're coming in.
The Trump administration has lied nonstop about the number of jobs that have been brought back from their manufacturing shit. It's not happening. It's not. They're not. People in the Rust Belt are still suffering. It's not getting better.
Because we reduced the taxes. Our taxes, our corporate taxes, were the highest in the world, and now they're among the lower taxes. They're not the lowest, but they're among the lowest. And what that means is jobs. But also, we're doing a very big, and we've done a very big middle-income tax package. So if we get in, we're going to do the middle-income tax package. But it's a great question. And if he comes along and raises rates...
What is the middle-income tax package, and how is this not just deficit spending? Keep in mind, they'll be funding all of this by cutting welfare programs and healthcare, not by cutting the military budget.
All those companies that are coming in, they will leave the U.S. so fast your head will spin. We can't let that happen.
Except they didn't in the past when this country was the best.
As you know, the New York Times has obtained, it says, years of your tax returns, among other things. It says that you have debts of approximately $421 million that you have personally guaranteed and that will come due in the next 4 years. The question is, on behalf of voters, who do you owe $421 million to?
First of all, let me answer. What they did is illegal, number one.
Nope.
Also, the numbers are all wrong with the numbers they released.
Prove it.
And just so you understand, when you have a lot of real estate, I have real estate, you know a lot of it, okay? Right down the road, Doral, big stuff, great stuff. When I decided to run, I'm very under-levered.
Oh, sorry. Somebody posted this right here. The truly undecided voter who asked about corporate tax rates that just showed up. Remember when we said she was a plant? Senior Vice President of Wealth Management, Becky Lightman. Yeah, actually, like, should have known from a fucking Becky, yeah. Let me just ask you guys about this. Let me just ask you about this question that's on the mind of every American. Why is it good that people like me shouldn't have to pay much in taxes?
Fortunately, but I'm very under-levered. I have a very, very small percentage of debt compared. In fact, some of it I did as favors to institutions that wanted to loan me money. $400 million compared to the assets that I have, all of these great properties all over the world, and frankly, the Bank of America building in...
But your assets are bleeding money. That's not how that works. The tax documents that were released indicated that you're losing tens of millions of dollars through your investments in these properties. Yeah, he's admitted the 400 million number. I thought it was fake, but apparently he's indicating he does have these debts. So who are these debts to?
San Francisco. I don't love what's happening to San Francisco.
Well, do I hear you right? It sounds like you're saying $400 million isn't that much.
One of the biggest office buildings.
But are you confirming that yes, you do owe some $400 million?
What I'm saying is that it's a tiny percentage of my net worth.
That sounds like
yes. And you'll see that soon because we're doing things.
So yes.
We've given, I think it's 108 or 112 pages of financial detail to elections. And, we have to file as the president, as any politician, you have to file. Nobody ever looks at that. When they do, they see how incredible the company is. But more importantly, they see where this debt is. No, I don't owe Russia money. I owe a very, very small... It's called mortgages. Yeah. People have a house, they put a mortgage.
Any foreign bank, any foreign entity?
Not that I know of, but I will probably, because it's so easy to solve, and if you'd like to do.
Not that I know of. Just so you guys know, having a United States president who's in debt to companies or to foreign interests is a national security risk. Just so you guys know. That is actually a national security risk. You really want your president being $500 million in debt to some company? What do you think he's going to do? What do you think he's going to do to kind of... I see some people say he's more than $1 billion in debt. We're working with the town hall now. What is he going to do to pay that off? What favors is he going to have extorted from him?
I will let you know who I owe whatever small amount of money. I want to say too.
Oh, yeah. Also, this is why presidents are supposed to completely move away from all of their businesses when they become president. That's why every other president in all of American history has done that, by the way. They're supposed to completely separate themselves from all their businesses, so there's no chance of them profiting off of favorable coverage or behavior towards. This is one of the reasons why he keeps... Remember all of the Secret Service details he would bring over to Mar-a-Lago, his fucking resort, and all the hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars that had to be spent on there from all the people who would come with Trump? He's just pumping money into his own businesses.
Things. Number one, it's a very small amount of money. Number two, it's very straight. It's very, very straight. But it's a tiny percentage of the worth. Did you ever hear the expression under-levered?
Yeah.
I am extremely under-levered.
Well, here's the thing. You could clear this up tonight by just releasing your tax returns yourself.
True.
That's what I don't question. I think people are just wondering.
As you know,
you're
I'm
the
under
only.
audit. It turned out that I am
Yes,
under
but
audit.
the
They
IRS
actually,
says you
excuse me.
are.
No, but you
the
accused
IRS says that doesn't stop you from releasing.
Accused me of
He's used this excuse for his entire presidency. The IRS has never said that means you can't release your taxes. Being under audit doesn't mean you can't release the information he would need to release to discredit the New York Times leak.
not being under audit previously, and
I
so
did
did other
not.
people at NBC, and I am under audit.
You
So
are.
that was solved. That's good. I am under audit. No person in their right mind would release prior to working out the deal with the IRS. And I'll go a step
What
further.
deal?
I'm treated very badly by the IRS. They treat me very, very badly. You have people in there from previous administrations. They treat me very badly. But we're under audit.
What deal? What deal with the IRS is he referring to here? You don't. When you're under audit, they're just making sure everything's fine. What deal do you anticipate having to make?
Audit. It's very routine in many ways, but we're under audit. They like to change the game,
It's
change
routine?
the rules, do everything.
Change
you
the
saw
game?
what they did with the Tea Party people. You saw what they did with the
But to
religious
be
group.
clear,
That's not
there is
relevant.
no law or rule that prohibits you from releasing your tax
No,
returns.
except common sense and intelligence and having lawyers that say, because I would love to release them, and as soon as we come to a conclusion, I will release them, and very gladly. But if you go to elections, and if you...
He's never going to release his taxes before he dies, by the way. Don't be like, I hope everyone knows that, right? He is never going to officially release his taxes. He will die. It is never going to be released.
You take a look. You'll see 112. I think it's 112. It talks about the income, which is rather massive. It talks about all of the properties. They have them listed. You can never learn more. But you know what happened? People went there. All the reporters went. There was like a feeding frenzy. This was originally when I filed it. And I filed it every year. I update it every year. My son is here. They run the company. I don't run the company.
It also says that you paid
Savannah, let me just tell you.
$750 in taxes in the year you were
Yeah,
elected.
because
Is that
that's
true
a
or not?
statutory number. It's a statutory.
But
it's
is
not
that true?
I think it's a filing number. You pay $750. It's a
But is
filing
that
or
all you
filing
pay?
fee.
Because most people here probably
No,
paid more.
I don't know. I can tell you this. If they have my tax returns, as you know, they have to go to jail. It's illegal. But their numbers were wrong. But let me tell you what else. I don't owe money to any of these sinister people. This has been going on for years
Who do
now.
you owe it to?
Russia. It turned out to be a hoax. And it turned out to be that Hillary Clinton and the Democrats were dealing with Russia, not me. It's a whole hoax. So
Wait, you were literally dealing with Russia. Weren't you planning on building a tower in Moscow right as the election started? You were literally dealing with them, like directly, openly. What are we talking about right now?
I would not mind at all saying who it is, but it's a very small. When you look at vast properties like I have, and they're big and they're beautiful and they're well located, when you look at that, the amount of money, $400 million, is a peanut. It's extremely underlevered. And it's levered with normal banks. Not a big deal.
All right, let's take a break. We'll get more voter questions right after this.
Bring him in. Bring him in. Get it out. Let's finish this shit show.
President Trump, thank you.
Get it.
We are live.
Thank God we found a better audio version of this, by the way. Can you imagine if we did this whole goddamn thing using the original tinny-ass audio? Holy shit.
In Miami, in the middle of a town hall with President Trump. Thank you again for being here. We've got another voter, Adam Schuker. He voted for Clinton in 2016. He's registered as a Democrat and says he's supporting Biden. Adam,
True.
take it away.
Thank you, Savannah. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Adam.
4 years ago, Senate leadership said it was inappropriate to push through a nominee in an election year. Yet they fast-tracked your nominee for the Supreme Court just today. The question I have for you is, what do you say to the voter that thinks it's hypocritical to act in that manner and that they can't trust Republicans' word?
So when I was elected and when a president is elected, they're elected for a period of 4 years. And Justice Ginsburg said it best, I think talking about President Obama having to do with somebody else, that the president is put there for 4 years, not for 3 years. So during this fourth year, it happened to come up, unfortunately, because I had great respect for Justice Ginsburg, but a vacancy happened to come up, and we picked somebody that's outstanding. She has been an absolute star. And
so we're completely dodging, again, right off the bat. We know this happened. Thank you. The question is, why this, but then also that?
I'm extremely proud of it. But again, plenty of time. I mean, there's plenty of time. We're going to do it before the election, but we also have much time after the election, but there's no reason to wait.
You blocked Obama's pick for 8 months before the election. RBG died like a month and a half before the election.
Because it's almost unanimous, it seems to me, certainly within the Republican Party, and frankly, most of the Democrats within closed rooms. I guarantee you that this is an outstanding person, and I'm using my fourth term. And you know,
fourth term.
If you look at it, and if you put the shoe on the other foot, if they had this, they would do it 100%. So there's been 29 times when this has happened.
No, the question is, why did your party? He's answering a completely different question. Except they couldn't do it. That's the difference.
29 times a president has done exactly what I've done.
Can I just, to the voters' point, I'll just say that in 2016...
I just want to point out, you didn't answer a single fucking question. You just completely didn't answer that question.
You were on another show, actually another morning show, and you were asked whether President Obama should nominate a Supreme Court Justice Merrick Garland. And you said, I think the Senate should wait until the next president and let the president pick. Now, that was 8 months before the election. This is 3 weeks before the election.
I have a lot of respect, by the way.
So you have changed your position on this.
I have a lot of respect for Judge Garland. I want to tell you that. But I'll tell you, the whole ball game changed when I saw the way they treated Justice Kavanaugh. I have never seen any...
There we go. Finally, an answer. Because they were mean to Kavanaugh, so that means we get to change our minds. It's retribution. There we fucking go.
Any human being, and I'm not just talking about Supreme Court, I have never seen a human being treated so badly with false accusations and everything else. I have never...
Then why did you block the FBI investigation into his past? Remember that, folks? Remember when people were like, hey, well, we could settle this by doing a proper investigation. They didn't really want to do an investigation to whether or not he raped that woman. Remember?
Never seen anything like it. And you know what? The truth is, Savannah, like it or not, the ball game changed a lot. There has never been anybody treated so badly as now.
As Ford, when she was being raped by Kavanaugh.
Justice Kavanaugh.
You've mentioned...
By Justice Kavanaugh. Yeah, he said it. I said it. He said it. He finished me off.
That you would like to see Amy Coney Barrett confirmed to the Supreme Court in case any challenges come up in connection with the election. Yeah. Do you expect her to rule for you?
I think she'll have to make that decision. I don't think she has any conflict at all. You know, a Supreme Court judge does not have, I mean, they can make their own decision. And they actually have additional power to make that decision. It would be totally up to her. I would think that she would be able to rule either for me or against me. I don't see any conflict whatsoever. We have an election coming up. I think it's the most important election in the history of our country. If for any chance, and it probably won't, and I hope it doesn't ever get to the Supreme Court, but if it did, I would think that she would rule one way or the other. I would think so.
But for you, you think she would rule for you?
I have no idea.
I mean, of course she'll rule one way or the other, but...
Believe it or not, I never asked her about it.
Hold on. Somebody in chat says, accusation is not 100% proof that he did that to her. Yeah, of course. That's why we want an FBI investigation. That's the point. Republicans blocked it. That's the point. Yeah, of course. See, that's the key difference there. Me Too types like me, like, you know, let's get to the truth types, we want investigations. Republicans, they don't want investigations. Yeah, for the Republican Party, whether or not you're a rapist is on a don't ask, don't tell basis. Okay, listen, as long as we don't look too deep into it, nobody's a rapist. Yeah, Ford's accusation was pretty darn credible, too. Like, even without an investigation, everything held up really, really well under investigative scrutiny. Like, pseudo-investigative scrutiny.
Never talked about it. I didn't talk about any of the obvious things that you could talk about. And I think a lot of people in my position might. But in speaking to a lot of very brilliant people and people that do this for a living, they say it's better not to talk. So I talked to her about life. I talked to her about the fact, would you like to do this? Are you willing to do this? Because it's a tremendous burden. The answer was yes. She's unbelievably well qualified, but I never spoke to her about these.
Couldn't say what 5 protections the First Amendment made, by the way. I just have to say, man, that you guys have all seen that clip, by the way, right? What protections does the First Amendment ensure? You know, and she couldn't name all 5 of them. She forgot protest. That was the, it's critical that that's the one that she forgot as well.
These various questions.
Let's get our next voter. She's leaning to you, Mr. President. She voted for you in 2016. She is a registered Republican. Her name is Mariah Green. Mariah, what's your question?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. President. I'm honored to be with you here tonight, sir, so thank you. I'm a pro-life millennial, and my question for you today is...
I'm sorry, wait. Okay, listen. Pro-life millennial. That's I can see this on a TikTok now, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like the other girls. I'm a pro-life millennial, so, you know, step to me. Yeah, I can see it, okay? Yeah, I'm discriminating. What's the opposite of simping?
If Roe v. Wade is ultimately overturned in the future, what protections would be put in place or kept for where the mother's life is in jeopardy in relation to high-risk pregnancies?
Well, again, I'm not ruling on this, and Roe v. Wade is something that a lot of people would say, obviously, you're going to speak to somebody. I also, two other great justices, Justice Gorsuch and Justice Kavanaugh, I never spoke to them about Roe v. Wade.
What
I
are we
never spoke to
talking
them
about?
Election laws. I never spoke to them about anything.
What are we talking about?
And I've done the right thing from a moral standpoint. I don't even know from a legal standpoint, but it was the right thing.
What are we talking about?
I think, depending on what happens with Roe v. Wade, I think that perhaps it could get sent down to the states.
What are we talking about?
And the states would decide. I also think perhaps nothing will happen. I have not talked to her about it. I think it would be inappropriate to talk to her about it. And some people would say you can talk to her about it.
It would be inappropriate to talk to a Supreme Court appointee about what position she might hold on her job. So what he's essentially saying is if Roe v. Wade gets overturned, there is absolutely no federal intention to make protections for instances where birth would threaten the mother's life. Absolutely none.
I just think it would be inappropriate.
But what is your preference? Because it agreed that's not something you should talk to the judge about. But would you like to see Roe versus Wade overturned?
I would like to see a brilliant jurist, a brilliant person who has done this in great depth and has actually skirted this issue for a long time, make a decision. And that's why I chose her.
Hey! All the dipshit religious fundy Trump supporters living in the middle of America, how does it feel to watch your president not even be able to commit to the pro-life agenda that's been keeping you voting red for the past 50 fucking years? Do you not feel like a little bit cucked right now? Like just a little bit? This is literally like one of the most pivotal issues that the Christian Republican base has been basing their support for Trump on. And he's on the precipice of being able to overturn Roe v. Wade through his appointments to the Supreme Court, and he can't even say his preference. He can't even say his preference. He doesn't care about you.
I think that she's going to make a great decision. I did not tell her what decision to make, and I think it would be inappropriate to say right now because I don't want to do anything to influence her. I want her to get her...
Wait, you as the president can't say your opinion because you would be influencing another political appointee? What are you talking about?
Approved, and then I want her to go by the law, and I know she's going to make a great decision for our country.
But you running as a pro-life Republican, most pro-life Republicans would like to see Roe v. Wade overturned and abortion banned.
Many of them would.
What do
Perhaps
you think?
Most of them would. I am telling you, I don't want to do anything to influence anything now. I don't want to go out tomorrow and say, oh.
You just lost the far right, Trump. Sorry. You just lost the right. Poof. Sorry. You just lost the right. He actually, this is probably the single strongest Republican talking point along with law and order. These are the two ones. It's law and order and pro-life. These are the two strongest carrots, the biggest, juiciest carrots Republicans have to hang in front of their voters. And he actually can't commit to this one.
Oh, he's trying to give her a signal because I didn't speak to her about it. I've done the right thing in so doing.
Hassan is right. Republicans use abortion as a carrot, won't actually take action on it. Well, that would make it awkward for how many fucking abortions Republicans need to get for their mistresses. There's no denying that. But also, I mean, if you actually get rid of abortion, what are Republicans supposed to vote on? Like, get the people to vote for them on now, you know? You never actually want to fix the problem that you run on a promise to fix, because if you do, there's no longer a need for you.
How she's going to rule, you're going to find out perhaps, or you might not find out. I mean, it may never get there. It may never get there. We'll see what happens.
All right. We have another question. This is Cindy Velez. She is
Is that true for Democrats and climate change? No, because whereas pro-life is fucking stupid, climate change is an existential threat to all of humanity. No, for multiple reasons. First of all, no single presidency will be able to fix climate change. Second of all, it's not a manufactured need. The planet literally actually needs to deal with climate change or we're all going to die. So it's not a cynical political bid as it is the only way society can continue to exist. But Democrats still suck. Fuck them.
Decided. She says she's leaning to Biden, and she did vote for Clinton in 2016. She's registered as a Democrat. Hi, Cindy. What's your question?
Good evening, Savannah.
Cindy,
Good
thank
evening,
you.
Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
As the mother of a young male of color, I have raised him to respect authority, not only because it's the right thing to do, but also out of fear that he may face profiling or be considered a criminal. As an educator, I've also had similar conversations with my high school students. Mr. President, what will you and your administration do to better prepare our law enforcement officers to work in collaboration with the communities that they serve and also to protect the lives of innocent Black and Latinos from police brutality and injustice?
Right. I fully understand the question, and I saw everything that you saw over the summer, and it was a terrible thing to watch. He
can't answer this question because he can't acknowledge the existence of systemic racism. He's not because in the question here, the framing implicitly acknowledges the existence of systemic racism in the police, and he can't do it. So
we're very strongly. We have a senator named Tim Scott from South Carolina.
This is true, though. We're kind of forced to respect authority in a way white people can disrespect in the open. Yeah, of course. No shit. This is protesting 101, okay? If you're white and you're Black, you get way different instructions on what protesting guidelines are, to a massive degree, okay? That's why people say if you're a white protester, it's your job to be the front line, because if you're Black and you're at the front line, you're way the fuck more likely to die. Let's be real here. Black kids get this talk, at some point in their life. Every Black kid in America, unless you're some crazy suburban Christian fundamentalist, upper middle class Black, whatever. Most Black families in America get this talk, and it's, hey kids, listen, basically everything in this country is designed to fucking kill you. So be careful, okay? And that's the talk, that's it. And it's true. It's a true talk.
He came up with a bill that should have been approved. It was great. It was a bill that was strong in terms of law enforcement and strong in terms of enforcing the proper thing and doing the proper thing by law enforcement. And the Democrats just wouldn't go for it. They wouldn't go for it at all.
And the one Black Republican put forward a milquetoast bill.
It was a really great bill. But I do have to say this. And some people don't like it when I say it, but a lot of people agree. I have done more for the African American community than any president.
Do it, man. Yeah.
Criminal justice reform, prison reform.
I think this is true. Some people don't like it when I say it, but I think it's true anyway. Yeah.
Historically Black colleges and universities, I got them funded. They were on a year-to-year basis. They could have been put out of business. As soon as our country had a little bad year, they would have said, I'm sorry, we're not going to fund you. I got them 10-year funding and financing, and more than they even asked for. I became very friendly with a lot of the heads. But we've done more, and of course, opportunity zones. But criminal justice reform, everybody said it could not be done. President Obama and Biden never even tried to do it. They never even tried. But
I don't think there was much police reform passed during the Obama-Biden administration, was there? Well, you have to keep in mind, police reform has to be done on a city-by-city, state-by-state basis. It can't be done nationally. There's no national police department. I mean, the military, I guess, the National Guard. But the actual police departments are county and city issues, and then you have, state troopers. But this is like a city-by-city kind of thing. The president doesn't actually have that much power here, except the president can incentivize cities and counties to adopt better guidelines and practices with tax incentives or by providing them free equipment on the condition that they meet a certain threshold of, policies passed, that kind of stuff. The most Obama did was help push more cameras into the force. Yeah, but let's be real here. Obama was not great on criminal justice reform. Obama's treatment of early Black Lives Matter was fucking despicable. He wasn't exactly, a guiding light on this issue.
I say that, and I say it often. I'll say it loud, and I'm very proud of it. And I have a great relationship because of what I've done with the African American community. I'm very proud of it.
Let's go to our next question. We have Paulette Dale. She leans slightly to Biden. She voted for Clinton in 2016. She's registered as a Republican. Paulette, what's your question?
Thank you. Good evening.
Wait, you went from voting for Hillary to registering for Republican to leaning to Biden. Okay.
Evening, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
I have to say, you have a great smile.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, he does. You're so handsome
what?
when you smile. Okay. As the daughter of...
I will say, I do think Trump has a great smile. I wouldn't tell him that, though. I wouldn't tell him to his face, but I do think he does. I do think he does. Terrible person. He was on TV for a long time. I think he's got a good smile, you know? If he was, can you imagine like a leftist Trump? Like, it's Trump, but I mean, different political positions, you know? And he's just kind of like this big Alex Jonesy buffoon with like just like this big round orange head, and he just like talks with his hands a lot, you know? Yeah, he's disgusting. Well, a leftist Alex Jones would be pretty based, and Alex Jones is disgusting. All right, you guys aren't on my level, okay? Just chill.
Of immigrants to the United States who fled Eastern Europe due to religious persecution.
Right.
The United States immigration policies are very personal for me.
Right.
Surveys show that most Americans and the majority of Republicans support the Dreamers program.
Cool.
So my question for you, Mr. President, is if you are elected to a second term, do you expect to pursue your previous efforts to cut the DACA program?
Yeah.
Why or why not?
And the DACA is somewhat different than Dreamers. You understand that, and you understand it better than anybody probably in this room. Where do you come from, by the way, originally? Where?
My grandparents were from Russia and Poland.
That's very good. Okay. So we are going to take care of DACA.
Wait, isn't DACA literally the Dreamers Act? Isn't this literal? Is this just like a? Is this like a Obamacare Affordable Care Act deal? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is exactly the same thing. Yeah, okay. Well, there are very big differences, actually. Oh yeah, here's here's the socialist Trump.
Folks, the bourgeois, they know that more and more people.
Never mind. I clicked it and I was excited, and it sounds terrible, and we're not continuing.
DACA, we're going to take care of Dreamer. It's working right now. We're negotiating different aspects of immigration and immigration law. We've built now over 400 miles of border wall, southern border. Mexico's working very closely with us. We have the strongest border we've ever had. We want people to come into our country. They have to come in legally, but we
Vosh, I think DACA was the stopgap measure until the Dreamer Act could be passed, so he's technically right. Oh, okay. So they were the same basic effort, but DACA was like the executive order made to protect people until the Dreamer Act could be passed. But the Dreamer Act never was passed, was it? We just have DACA, don't we? Yeah, okay. So by getting rid of DACA, but not having the Dreamers Act, you just fuck all these kids. Not that Trump is any stranger to that. It was passed and it expired? Dream Act, legislative proposal to grant temporary, In August 2001, introduced the bill in the Senate. It did not pass. The proposal was reintroduced several times, not been approved by majorities in both houses. Yeah. So the Dream Act is not, has not been passed at any point. It's not that it expired. It just hasn't been passed. So DACA is the only, it's the executive order that kind of temporarily shores up the issue.
We are working very hard on the DACA program, and you will be, I think, very happy over the course of the next year.
Wait,
because I feel the same way.
Wait, how would she be? She just said, yeah, everyone wants the Dream Act, basically, and you're like, we're going to get rid of DACA anyway. You're going to be very happy with it. Wait, how?
Way as you do about it.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, in point of fact, the DACA program, there are, under your administration, no new applicants are allowed. And in fact, the DACA recipients now have to renew every year as opposed to every 2 years. So in fact, the DACA program has been curtailed by your administration.
Well, what happened is because of the pandemic, much changed on the immigration front. Mexico is heavily infected, as you know, and we've made it very, very difficult to come in because of the pandemic.
This has nothing to do. Wait, when were the DACA changes made? Yeah, weren't they made before COVID? No, okay. This right here, Trump administration refuses to accept new DACA applicants despite court rulings. Isn't it interesting how so many of the things the Trump administration does is despite courts ruling against it? Really, really weird. This is from July 28th, though. August 28th, July 28th. What about the 1 year to 2 year? 1 year. You have 1 year DACA extension to extend DACA for 1 year. No, this is all after COVID. Unless something took place earlier. I remember there being changes to DACA before COVID, but it's not being shown here. I still don't think there's any relationship, though, between the needs of the country and curtailing DACA and COVID. Here we go. In 2017, the Trump administration announced a plan to phase out DACA, triggering multiple lawsuits challenging the action. The government deferred implementation of this plan for 6 months to allow Congress time to pass the DREAM Act, but that didn't happen, did it? Look more into it later.
Pandemic and other reasons, and crime. But we have a very strong border right now, and we have to keep it that way. But we want people to come into our country, but they have to come in through a merit system, and they have to come in legally. And people are very, very happy with it. You haven't heard any complaints about that. But what happened is because of the pandemic, we have to be extra cautious.
You have been promising this immigration bill since, well, at least July, when you told my colleague on Telemundo it was coming, but nothing's come yet.
It's very happy. The fact is, we got rid of catch and release, which is a disaster. You know, you catch somebody, they could be a murderer, they could be a rapist, and we're supposed to release them into our country. These are the laws that I inherited. We ended that program. Now, I think you're going to see something very, very good. The whole immigration, if you look at what's going on, people used to pour into our country, and especially during the pandemic. I think even you, Savannah, will be very impressed.
Sir, we have about 30 seconds left. I think about people sitting out there tonight. There are some who love you. Some of them are sitting right around here, and some who will never vote for you. But there are people in the middle. There are people who aren't sure.
That's right.
There are people who want to know why they should give you a second chance and how you might improve in a second term. 30 seconds. What would you say to them?
Because I've done a great job. We have the strongest economy in the world.
Yeah, he's a fucking narcissist, dude. He's incapable. What will you do to appeal to the people in the center who haven't made up their mind yet? Oh, let me repeat the same thing I've said 80,000 times about how good of a job I've already done. Not about what I plan to do, not about my aspirations or my, how I've learned or anything like that. Just how I'm already perfect and how you already should have been supporting me.
Closed it up. We are coming around the corner. The vaccines are coming out soon, and our economy is strong. We are at a level with jobs like we've never been before. We've rebuilt our military. We've rebuilt our borders. We had no borders. We had no nothing.
What?
We've rebuilt so much. We've given you the greatest tax cut in the history of our country, greatest regulation cut, equally as important. And we created new levels of jobs that nobody thought was possible. And next year is going to be...
Dude, what the fuck? Before Trump, we were a borderless anarchist state, and now we're back to having fucking borders? This sucks. Well, now I know I'm voting for Biden.
Be better than ever before.
I got to leave it there. I got a wrap from the control room. Mr. President, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to the voters' questions. That concludes our town hall. We do want to thank the president again, as well as our audience.
All right, cool. So yeah, just the same as pretty much any time Trump is ever asked to speak in front of any group of people ever, the answers essentially boil down to, I don't know. I've talked to some people. I've talked to some other people. Some people say this. Some people say that. I've thought about it. You're going to like what's going to happen. You know, we're going to look into it. We're going to look into it very good. And yeah, some people say it's very, very good. We're going to do very good. And, you know, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do very good. And that's essentially every answer to every question he has. All right. Nice fucking meme. We take a 10-second break to denote a transition from this segment to another.